Chaos erupts as thugs attack ADC Transition Committee inauguration in Kaduna. Northeast governors warn of impending flood disaster, humanitarian crisis. Mixed reactions show construction of Wurukum flyover in Makurdi. And on the foreign scene, Prime Minister of Yemen's Houthi government killed in Israeli strike. Good evening. Thank you for joining us in News Hour tonight. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. The official inauguration of the Transition Committee of the ADC in Kaduna, APC, PDP, SDP, NNPP and LP ended in chaos as thugs armed with cutlasses and stones attacked the venue. The assault led to several injuries and the destruction of properties. Police officers at the scene fired tear gas in an attempt to disperse the attackers, but this only heightened panic and commotion around Mogadishu layout where the event was held. Bala Musa completes the report.
According to eyewitnesses, the thugs struck shortly after the inauguration ceremony, vandalizing cars and other property and physically assaulting attendees. Speaking to journalists, former Kaduna State Governor and ADC national leader Nasarawa, alongside the party's Northwest Vice Chairman Jafar Sani, alleged that the ruling party was behind the attack. Also accused the police of complicity, claiming security operatives failed to protect members exercising their constitutional rights.
This is a government that I had a hand in bringing about. I'm quite disappointed and disgusted by this. But if the authorities don't take decisive action to end this reintroduction of thuggery into Kaduna politics, well, God help us, because nobody has monopoly of violence, nobody has monopoly of thugs. We will take steps in the future to ensure that we don't react to situations like this. The police was complicit. The Assistant Commissioner of Police that was there watched while these thugs were attacking people with machetes, destroying people's vehicles, and it is a matter that I will report to the highest levels of the police and the Police Service Commission. I have his picture. He has removed his name tag, which is contrary to police regulations. We'll escalate this. We will.
Disgusting, very, very disgusting. This is really sad, especially in Kaduna State, where we feel that we have gone far beyond the occurrences that we witness today. So it's very sad for whoever that.
Some victims whose cars and properties were vandalized expressed deep concern over the violent disruption.
Not happy, and it is so unfortunate. It's something that we never envisage, that the government will allow its people to generate this violence. So we are not happy at all. What they did to us is not good, because this is democracy, and democracy is about freedom.
And nothing was done. And today we came to hold a meeting, which is our constitutional right. But unfortunately, thugs who were known in the state came and trying to disrupt the event. And I want to send a very good message. We are born and raised in Kaduna. We are law-abiding citizens of Kaduna, and nobody can intimidate us. Nobody can scare us. We are going to express our constitutional right, and nobody can stop that.
Meanwhile, another faction of the ADC in Kaduna dissociated itself from the event, distancing the group from the chaos that erupted.
They runs a one-man show, taking decision without consultation, and holding meetings only with his personal loyalists, particularly SDP remnant, while sidelining the authentic ADC leadership and grassroots structure across the 23 local governments of Kaduna State.
In a statement, the Kaduna State Police Command confirmed it has launched an investigation into the incident. The command stressed that the gathering was organized without prior notification to the police or relevant security agencies, despite repeated warnings. The statement further warned that hotels, event centers, or similar facilities that host political meetings without notifying security authorities will be held liable for any breach of peace. Trust TV News Kaduna.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has described Saturday's local government elections in Rivers State as a crucial step towards restoring democratic structures and ensuring political stability. Wike will cast his vote at Ward 9 in Obiakpo local government area, commended President Bola Tinubu for providing the leadership that enabled the polls to hold. The report.
The minister emphasized that the Nigerian constitution does not recognize caretaker committees, stressing that only elected officials can legally access funds from the Federation account.
First of all, if elections are not conducted, you know that Supreme Court has said there's nothing like caretaker committees in local government, and if there are no elected people, it means that funds will not come from the Federation account to local government councils. And that means that if the emergency rule is lifted and there's no local government election, we'll still have the same problem. And now that local government election is taking place, it means that they've elected people and then they will get funds directly from the Federation account.
On concerns about the legality of the elections following the Supreme Court nullification of the last poll in October, Wike expressed confidence that the current exercise was conducted in line with constitutional provisions.
There was no election by law. Supreme Court said there was no election. They nullified the election. I said there was no election. There was no election. Today we are holding election, and that's why you see people have come back to also cast their vote. If you do something that is not done to law, of course it will be set aside, and it was set aside. And now that the process is very clear and goes according to the law, nobody's worried.
He also praised the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for what he called a well-organized process.
So I'm very happy with the turnouts of people. I've got a lot of reports from the rural areas that people came out very well to participate in this election, so I'm very happy.
Commenting on reports of low voter turnout, the minister explained that participation is usually higher in residential and rural communities, where councillorship decisions have more direct impact on daily life than in commercial zones.
Still staying in Rivers, stakeholders in the state have described Saturday's local government elections as peaceful, free and credible. Both officials and voters commended the impressive turnout and orderly conduct of the polls. The Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, speaking to journalists after casting his vote, praised the process and lauded the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for what he described as a seamless and violence-free election. The chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, also expressed satisfaction with the exercise, stating that he hoped the results would reflect the true will of the people. At the grassroots level, the positive assessment continued as a PDP chairmanship candidate for Obiakpo Gift Worolu, along with several voters, described the election as smooth and hitch-free with no major challenges recorded.
The election is moving on very smoothly. I'm here in Ward 1, Unit 15, and I just cast my votes, as you can see, and everything went smoothly. Those who are here to conduct the elections are indeed very professional.
And I'm saying that I'm very happy to have performed this civic duty, which I also see as a citizenship behavior. As you can see, our people are here in their numbers to fight for democracy. We must fight for democracy to work for us. And I believe this is a testament to the impressive campaign that we ran.
For the election, I think it's successful and everywhere is calm. And I believe with what I'm seeing, we are going to achieve the goals. And I know that another unit will also achieve what we have come out today for.
Very good, friendly. You can see the environment yourself. There's no problem. everything is going accordingly.
Well, this is unusual of elections that I have noticed, I have participated. Nobody is pushing nobody. Yeah, everywhere is calm. People have come to vote for their candidates. And like I said, the exercise started around 9 o'clock and it's been turn by turn as people are waiting to take their turn.
Over in Jalingo, governors of Nigerian Northeast are warning of an impending flood disaster that could further threaten livelihoods in the region. The call came at the close of the Northeast Governors Forum meeting, which held in the Taraba state capital. The report.
The 12th meeting of the Northeast Governors Forum ended with a strong warning. Credible forecasts indicate that floods may soon hit the region, compounding existing humanitarian and infrastructure challenges. In a communique signed by the forum's chairman and Borno State Governor, Babagana Umara Zulum, the governors urged proactive measures including massive sensitization of communities living along floodplains.
I urge us to focus on pressing and resolving issues such as security, agriculture, education, healthcare, and infrastructure, amongst others. It is my hope that our discussions will be pragmatic and focused on taking practical steps that will accelerate the transformation of our region. To achieve this, we require the full cooperation and support of the federal government in providing an enabling environment to attract both local and foreign investment and to promote the establishment of small and medium-scale enterprises. Further to the recent release of 2025 annual flood outlook by the National Hydrological Services Agency and the seasonal climate prediction from the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, it is imperative to highlight that our sub-region is projected to face an accelerated flood risk category.
The governors also appealed to the federal government and the Northeast Development Commission to urgently rebuild collapsed bridges and other critical infrastructure damaged by previous floods.
I appeal to this August forum to kindly add its weight to the call for the Northeast Development Commission to expedite action on the collapsed and threatened bridges in our region, specifically the collapsed Namne Bridge in Gaso local government and the Tela Bridge in the same Gaso local government. Also the Mayo Kam Bridge in Bali local government, the Pamanga Bridge in Adokola local government, the Maraba Pantisao Lacheke Bridge, Yoro local government.
Another concern raised was the rising cost of agricultural inputs. The forum warned that unless farmers receive subsidies and support for dry season farming, poor harvest and hunger could hit the region next year.
Forum drives high cost of agricultural inputs, which might have direct negative consequences on farm inputs outputs next year. To avoid impending food crisis ahead, it calls for more subsidies to farmers and forced preparation for dry season farming. Forum agrees to hold the Northeast Fair Partnership in partnership with Katsina in Makurdi, Borno State, December 2023.
The forum, which brings together governors of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe states, reaffirmed its commitment to stronger cooperation in tackling shared climate, food, and security challenges. While calling for urgent federal support and coordinated action to prevent the region from sliding into another humanitarian crisis, they pledged to sustain collaboration among the 6 states while pressing for national action to avert floods and looming food shortages.
One person has been confirmed dead and over 300 farmlands and crops destroyed following severe flooding in the Nasarawa, Kaduna and Doma local government areas of Nasarawa State. The Director General of the Nasarawa State Emergency Management Agency, Benjamin Akwash, disclosed this during a press briefing on Saturday in Lafia after an assessment of the affected areas. Akwash noted that the agency had been carrying out sensitization campaigns in flood-prone communities and engaging stakeholders on the need to adopt safety measures and comply with weather forecast issued by relevant authorities. He, however, expressed concern that many residents in high-risk areas were reluctant to relocate despite repeated warnings. Akwash revealed that the state government had been working on sustainable flood prevention strategies to curb the annual disasters rather than focusing solely on post-disaster relief efforts. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has launched a new joint task force operation Enduring Peace to tackle insecurity across Plateau, Bauchi and Kaduna states. The initiative, which replaces the former Operation Safe Haven, was officially flagged off in just the Plateau state capital. And Musa tells us more in this report.
At the flag off, the Chief of Defense Staff explained that new equipment have been deployed to strengthen the operation in the affected communities. He noted that Operation Safe Haven had made significant contributions in addressing complex security challenges within the joint operations area. General Musa added that the rebranded operation reflects a broader mandate, a renewed sense of purpose, and a stronger resolve to deliver not just temporary safety, but lasting peace for generations to come.
Before it was Safe Haven, now is enduring peace, because what we think we need is more peace. Like I said, it's not only for us to win the war, it's to win the peace. Because if we win the war without winning the peace, there won't be any problem. So we have reached that stage now is to bring a peace that is going to be enduring for everyone to benefit from it. And that's why we're here, and that's why the new building is a new mindset I want to create within the troops to know that we need to work with the communities. The communities must trust us. And trust is not something you buy. It's people see your action and inaction, then they know your trust, and that's what we want to gain. So we're going to rally on everyone to work together, and we want to appeal to Nigerians to give the support to members of the armed forces, because we are determined and dedicated and committed to ensuring that there's peace everywhere we operate.
Representatives of both Kaduna and Plateau State highlighted the importance of the operation.
We are here today to witness the change, not just change. We have been able to see that there is now incoming the normal thing that we refer to as the 3 R's. And we are going to see a more revived and rejuvenated security agency. We have gone around, we have seen the equipments that have been given to them, we have seen some foots on ground, and we are sure that the enemies now will be jittery.
Look, a criminal is a criminal. It is only when I am able to expose the criminal under me, under my roof, and the other person exposes his, that's where we can have peace. And I think with what I'm seeing here, it is already coming to our doorstep.
With the branding to Operation Enduring Peace, personnel are now tasked with confronting criminal threats, especially in vulnerable communities within the joint operations area. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Troops of Operation Hadinkai, in collaboration with local security outfits, have eliminated 12 ISWAP terrorists in a series of targeted offensive operations. The long-range commando raids, conducted between August 29 and 30 with air surveillance support, cleared Tamsu Ngamdu and some areas of terrorist activities. At Loskodi-Kura, troops engaged insurgents in a fierce gun battle, neutralizing 12 fighters. Recovered items include 8 AK-47 rifles, fully loaded magazines, assorted drugs, and medical supplies used by the terrorists. Military authorities have commended the troops for their renewed vigor and urged them to sustain the onslaught until total victory is achieved. Insecurity characterized by indiscriminate killings, cattle rustling, kidnappings for ransom, and the mass displacement of families has devastated several communities across Katsina state. Consequently, thousands of people have been killed, hundreds remain traumatized, and millions have lost their means of livelihood to banditry. Abdullahi Yamadi visited 3 hard-hit communities in Nauma ward of Malamfoshi local government area and now reports.
The resurgence of banditry in Katsina metropolis is worrisome and disturbing. This has left residents asking questions about what could have been the reason behind the incessant attacks. Residents of Ungwara Canada quarters, particularly immediate neighbors of the victims, recounted how the bandits opened fire indiscriminately throwing residents into confusion on the night of the attack. We heard sound of gunshots around 3 a.m. We heard when some of them scaled the fence of the house. I believe they were targeting Anas alone because his only house was attacked. They forced the couple out and went straight to where they kept their motorcycles. It was later we noticed that they killed one of the vigilantes guarding the community. It was unfortunate. It is a moment of grief for residents of the area who are still mourning the death of the vigilante member who was fatally shot and killed by the armed men.
We'll bring you the correct report for that story in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the board of one of Africa's fastest growing media groups, Media Trust Limited, has inaugurated a committee of economists from diverse backgrounds to enable the group serve its public. This is part of the group's recent reforms initiatives aimed at positioning as a global brand within the ever-evolving media landscape. Trust TV's Aisha Abdulmimunu tells us more in this report.
Inaugurated to help. The team, made up of renowned economists, was inaugurated to help enlighten the public and provide professional guidance on economic issues. In his opening remark, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Media Trust, Ahmed Chukwurau, explained that the board was set up to serve as a pool of resource persons for the Media Trust news platforms.
It's really important we have a think tank like this because most times you have people reporting business and economy issues who are not economists. They have not studied economics. It's really challenging, analyzing issues relating to the economy for them. And over time, we've also had this experience about people poaching some of our colleagues. Issues are well appreciated. You see an organization coming to just poach. So we have the challenge of continuously having to actually train, more and more people since, our audience is there looking forward to quality journalism from us.
Also speaking, Professor Mutaka Usman, a member of the Media Trust Group, emphasized the importance of this initiative.
The essence of the board is to allow the economic issues to be discussed extensively. And by the time you set such of a committee, you will be able to enlighten the public, as which is the cardinal principle of Media Trust. And that will really try to explain all the issues in terms of the economic issues that confronting the country and the world at large.
Chairman Board of Directors of Media Trust, Kabir Yusuf, said the team will play a vital role in helping readers and audience understand developments in the economy.
We hope that with your engagement, we will really get this aspect of business and economy right, because we really need the expertise to even understand it. So we'll leave it to you, how you work, what you do. Hopefully it's more than the old board in my mind, and we will see the output in our various platforms. It's not just newspaper. We have TV. And when you look at Nigerian television, what do you see? It's politics.
Another member of the board, Shehu Yahaya, commended the organization for attaining national recognition built on credibility and integrity.
Some of its founders and leading members and investors. And I think the idea is for us to see what we can do to support this objective of supporting an institution that has a national perspective, that tries to promote integrity in the midst of major challenges to that integrity at the national level, both in terms of the economy and also at the journalistic level I know what challenges that are being faced.
The integration was aimed at fostering a stronger platform that can periodically analyze economic issues and aid public understanding of policies and decisions. Aisha Abdulmuminu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Back to our earlier story. Insecurity characterized by indiscriminate killings, cattle rustling, kidnappings for ransom, and the mass displacement of families has devastated several communities across Katsina state. Consequently, thousands of people have been killed, hundreds remain traumatized, and millions have lost their means of livelihood to banditry. Abdullah Yamidi visited 3 hard-hit communities in Nalma ward of Malamfushi local government area and now reports.
For many residents, their stories are nothing short of horror. Naalma, once a vibrant community of over 3,000 people, is now home to fewer than 150. Those who remain lament that no economic or social life exists here. Even funeral rites must be conducted under armed security watch. The hoodlums infiltrate our village from nearby bandit-ridden areas such as Garangozai, Agulawa, Karu, Salihawa, Gidan Maijimina, Manna, Hayin Gidan Yawa, Turawa, and Alhazawa, mostly in Musawa local government with a few in Malumfashi. We feel abandoned and rejected. We have been crying for help, but nothing has been done. The story here is killings and abductions. We hardly sleep at night. Even naming or wedding ceremonies don't hold here. They are taken elsewhere. Funerals must be under tight security watch. 9 people, including 4 men and 5 women, abducted from Naalma have remained in captivity for over 2 months because their families cannot afford ransom payments. Bad roads linking these communities make response to emergencies difficult, if not impossible. At neighboring Ungwerbogo, over 15 residents were killed in 10 separate attacks. More than 50 cows were rustled, 15 residents taken hostage, and over 30 million naira paid in ransom, with little result. My son, a graduate of a health institution, was killed here. I can't sleep. I spend nights outside the village and only return during the day to attend to a few things. I was shot in the hand by a bandit. My only crime was that I had no money or phone to give them. They forced me to raise my hand above my shoulder and then fired into my palm in broad daylight. The attacks here are frequent and deadly, mostly in broad daylight. More than 1,500 residents have fled. In Ungwarbaro, another farming community, over 100 people abandoned their homes. 2 women remain in captivity for more than 3 months. My daughter has been in captivity for over 3 months. The bandits are demanding for 3 million naira ransom, which I cannot afford. I must, however, appreciate the DPO of Malumfashi for his resilience and commitment during this trying time. Security operatives are currently on high alert along major highways, with surveillance intensified across Funtua Zone, where banditry continues to claim lives and destroy properties worth hundreds of millions of naira. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're still on to news update on Trust TV. When the news returns, we'll take a look at mixed reactions trailing construction of Wurukum flyover in Makurdi. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on to News Hour on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that chaos erupts as thugs attack ADC Transition Committee inauguration in Kaduna State. Also informed you that the Northeast governors have warned of impending flood disaster and humanitarian crisis. Two more stories. The ECOWAS network of electoral commissions, in collaboration with the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, has emphasized the importance of strengthening electoral integrity, improving information sharing, and protecting public trust in elections. It noted that safeguarding elections today goes beyond logistics, stressing the need to secure not only the technical process, but also the perception of fairness and credibility. Stakeholders further warned that elections are no longer determined only at the ballot box, but also by narratives in the information space, making regional cooperation and collective learning indispensable. Experts also highlighted disinformation, cyber attacks, and digital manipulation as some of the most pressing threats to electoral integrity in Africa.
To try to explain to the experts who are working for electoral management bodies in charge of communication on the need to step up their work with regards to protecting electoral processes, especially during the information era where we are. You know, now we are in an era where social media information goes very fast, and then fake news, misinformation, disinformation always plays around to try to derail a little bit the electoral processes. So we are bringing them together to try to share experiences, learn best practices on how to protect our electoral processes.
If we are thinking of the future of democracy, democracy is very much now shaped by the digital information space. So if we're able to bring election management bodies together to discuss their work and how they can promote elections that are credible, where all citizens have equal online, offline rights, they have access to information on and offline, and they're able to participate equally in these electoral processes, I believe broadly our democracy will be more robust and electoral outcomes would also be more acceptable.
Mixed reactions have trailed the commencement of construction of a flyover by the federal government at the busy Wurukum roundabout in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Trust TV correspondent in the state, Sample, spoke with some residents of the city on the importance and challenges of the Makurdi Overhead Bridge project. The report.
The Wurukum roundabout is a major gateway for travelers passing through Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Just a few days ago, the area looked like this. Now construction work has commenced under the supervision of both the federal and state ministries of works as human and vehicular activities continue around the site. The construction site has even become a point of attraction for residents of all ages. Heavy earth-moving machines are pulling down old structures and clearing the rubble to pave way for the new flyover. Some residents have commended both the federal and state governments for the initiative, pledging support for the developmental strides. They are also calling on motorists and pedestrians to exercise caution when driving on the route to avoid accidents while urging governments to sustain efforts that deliver more dividends of democracy.
What they are about to construct now is a flyover. And what that means is that it's going to reduce traffic congestion here. Because if you look at the roundabout here, it's the center of the state. Everybody coming from Plateau, Taraba, any part of the country, this is the meeting point. So for that reason, there is need to be a free flow of movement. Honestly, this will reduce congestion of traffic. However, the contractor, the way he's handling it, is not good enough. He started the other lane. He would have finished before translating to this one. This is causing a lot of dust, more accidents. So that is on the side of the contractor. If not, it's a welcome development. Another thing I want to add on is make this traffic. Try to add, if they are not enough, they should add more so that they will control all those vehicles so that this kind of incident that happen yesterday will not repeat.
However, for some women who depend on roadside trading in the area, project has displaced their businesses and source of livelihood.
It is not our wish to be by the roadside, but it is because of difficulties. As you can see us here to earn a living, some of us are here because of the displacement that, as it is now, we cannot afford shops. Some of us are trading here because of difficulties and largely because we don't have anybody and no money to rent shops that are costly. That is the reason why we are looking for daily bread.
My husband doesn't have work. He's here that me and the children were eating. And since morning that I'm here, that I'm not selling anything, I'm just thinking what to do. Because I don't know what to do. And I don't have money to rent shop.
Residents are hopeful that beyond this project, both the state and federal governments will also address other pressing challenges, such as perennial flooding and economic recovery in the state.
Over 10 people involved in a road accident on the Benin-Auchi Highway on Saturday have been rescued through the intervention of the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebolo. The governor was en route to Irua in the Eson Central local government area of the state with his entourage encountered a heavy gridlock after the bypass and immediately alighted to assess the situation. On arrival at the accident scene, he met several victims in critical condition, many bleeding profusely, while many bystanders stood helplessly. Moved by the state of the victims, Governor Okpebolo directed his aides to use 2 of his security Hilux vehicles to convey the victims to a medical facility for treatment. He personally supervised as the injured passengers, including a woman with severe injuries, were lifted one into the waiting vehicle and rushed to the hospital for urgent treatment. Eyewitnesses recounted that the accident occurred when the driver of a white Toyota Venza drove against traffic, resulting in a collision involving 4 vehicles and 3 mini-buses. The Niger State Police Command has recorded multiple breakthroughs in its fight against crime, with the arrest of suspected assassins, thugs, illegal immigrants, and other offenders across the state. The command's public relations officer, Wesiu Abiodun, will disclose this in a press statement issued in Minna, said police patrol team, in collaboration with vigilante members stationed at railway crossing Beji in Boso local government area, intercepted 2 suspects, Muhammad Mohammed, aged 40, and Muhammad Usman, aged 35, both of Beji, who both confessed to being hired by Wandogo to assassinate a man around the railway crossing area. In another operation, the command's anti-thuggery squad stormed Suje A, Suje B, and Kungu areas of Mina and arrested 9 suspects for thuggery while recovering suspected stolen solar batteries, knives, cutlasses, and a digger. Similarly, police operatives in Shuru arrested a 28-year-old Mustafa Saleh of Zumba for cultivating and dealing in suspected cannabis and recovered 2 bags of harvested cannabis, while his accomplice Wan Shoaibu remains at large. In Mina, operatives attached to the GRA division arrested 2 suspected illegal immigrants from Senegal, 25-year-old Seydou Jah and Sirinjouf Jibrin, also following intelligence from the Fadipe community. As part of efforts to strengthen civil-military relations in the fight against terrorism, the Multinational Joint Task Force MNJTF has provided medical services to over 3,000 resettled communities in Mongunu and Kukawa local government of Borno State. The free medical outreach also witnessed the distribution of drugs, food items, water facilities, and agricultural inputs to the communities. The MNJTF said the intervention aims to alleviate the healthcare burden on the communities with limited access to medical centers. The MNJTF Force commander noted that the Multinational Joint Task Force is also focused on building trust between the military and local population, which is imperative to regional stabilization, saying it remains committed to ensuring that the Northeast region becomes unsafe for terrorists.
We are here in line with the African Union Mission Support Team to deliver medical outreach to the locals, those vulnerable persons who have been affected by the scourge of Boko Haram. So far, we've been here for the past 4 days and the exercise has been going on smoothly. You can see from the background, the medical team attending to the locals. We'll be getting a lot of support. However, in our participation within Mongolo General area, there's not been any local partnership from the local participants here. But somehow we got some assistance from some little bit of health workers.
Since it is during the rainy season, we have a lot in case of malaria, typhoid is very prevalent in the midst of this our IDP. That is why we targeted this period to come for the medical outreach. So besides that, we have some other pathologies that the doctors are also taking care of. Now, these IDPs, there are people that have suffered a lot from the nefarious activities of this new state army.
Appreciates the military for this medical support. They gave us drugs and also sensitized us on healthy living too. A few days ago, they gave us food pervasives. I pray God blesses them for this gesture.
A Gombe-based Islamic scholar has warned against the dangers of envy, describing it as a sin that could lead one to eternal damnation. According to the Cleric, envy is not directed at the one who receives Allah's favor, but at Allah himself who bestows it. He therefore urged Muslims to avoid such an act, which amounts to direct confrontation with the Almighty. Trust TV's Hassan Lawan Kohli tells us more in this report.
During his Friday sermon, the chief imam of Masjid At-Taqwa in Gombe, Sheikh Adam Ardo, described envy as one of the most dangerous spiritual diseases of the heart. He stressed that Muslims must at all times avoid being envious of Allah's blessing upon others.
The envy, it's one reward. It consumes one's reward just like the fire consume cottons. So we should try to avoid that. As Muslims, we are not supposed to do that. Envy is just hating the favors of Allah upon another person. Or even when he gets it, you try to do whatever you want to do in order to see that he is relieved of these favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever is doing this is not against the person, but he is fighting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he is not going to succeed.
The Cleric outlined categories of envy and advised Muslims to seek Allah's favor directly rather than focusing on what has been granted to others.
Envy can be divided into two. First is the one that when he sees the favors of Allah with another person, he will not be happy. His heart will be blackened. He will not be free. His heart will be contracted because he doesn't like what he sees. But he will not make any move, either by his tongue or his actions, to ensure that those favors departed the person. And the second one is the one that will hate those things that Allah has bestowed upon somebody, and at the same time make attempt, either by words of mouth, insulting him, saying a lot of things that are not good, trying to pull him down, the PhD syndrome, doing a lot of things, and his actions too speaks volume of the level of his envy. So as Muslims, all these things are prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Sheikh R.O. further cautioned the persistent envy is destructive, affecting almost every aspect of life. He added that envy represents a direct rebellion against Allah, one that could ultimately lead the offender into hellfire. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
In business, Nigeria's energy sector recorded 8.58% increase in daily gas production, which rose to 7.59 billion standard cubic feet per day in July 2025 from 6.99 recorded in the full year of 2024. According to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission's NUPRC status update on gas dashboard for July, 7.59 billion standard cubic feet per day recorded is a 9.84% increase from the 6.91 posted in the full year of 2023. The report also indicated a continued reduction in gas flaring, which fell to 7.16% in July 2025, down from 7.55% in 2024 and 7.38% in the corresponding period of 2023. The Commission noted that in pursuit of its commitment to end routine gas flaring by 2030, it has embarked on gas reduction programs, including the Nigerian Gas Flare Commercialization Program, development of decarbonization and sustainability blueprint, promoting carbon capture and storage, and integrating sustainability into project planning through the Upstream Petroleum Decarbonization Template. In terms of domestic gas delivery obligation performance, the sector delivered 72.5% in July 2025, up from 71.8% in June. The price of shea nuts, a key ingredient in cosmetics and confectionery, has plunged in Nigeria following the government's decision to join other West African nations in halting exports. At the close of trading on Thursday, the price of the nuts was 800,000 naira, equivalent to $521 per ton, down 33% from a few days earlier, Bloomberg disclosed. Quoting Rilwan Bello, the Chief Executive Officer of Vestance, the Lagos-based consultancy that monitors agricultural markets. On August 26, President Bola Tinubu directed a 6-month temporary ban on the export of raw shea nuts. Abubakar Kyari, the Minister for Agriculture and Food Security, said the ban was to secure supply for local processors, create jobs and protect a value chain where 95% of pickers are women. Kyari said the ban on shea nut shipments will help correct an imbalance whereby the country produces nearly 40% of the world's supply, yet captures less than 1% of a $6.5 billion global market. On a foreign scene, Yemen's Houthi rebel movement has confirmed that its self-proclaimed Prime Minister, Ahmed Ghaleb Nasser al-Rawahi, was killed in an Israeli airstrike earlier this week. The Iran-backed group said several other senior officials were killed when the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, targeted Yemen's capital Sana'a on Thursday. The IDF said at the time that it attacked a Houthi military target in the Sana'a area, given no further details. The Houthis have controlled much of northwestern Yemen since 2014 after ousting the internationally recognized government from Sana'a and triggering a devastating civil war. The Houthis said Rawahi had been killed alongside several Houthi ministers, though it did not name the others. Over in sports, cycling enthusiasts are urging the federal government and stakeholders to prioritize the sport, tapping its potential to benefit Nigerian youths and enhance the country's recreational and competitive prospects. This call was made during the cycling awareness event in Ogbomosho, Oyo State. There is more in this report.
Despite its numerous benefits, including promoting healthy living, reducing carbon emissions, and fostering tourism and competition, cycling in Nigeria remains underappreciated compared to other sports. To change this narrative, a cycling awareness campaign is set to promote an upcoming event in Oyo State, featuring 100 cyclists rode from Iseyin to Ogbomosho. The cyclists, before the commencement of their journey, visited the Aseyin of Iseyin, where the monarch commended the initiative as a means of promoting youth and sports development.
Suspended leagues in the world is in my local government. Ajayi Story and Ajayi Crowder is in my local government. Oshogu is in my local government. And so many other things that we can connect together to promote our story, to tell the world who we are through the Cyclist Association of Nigeria.
Locally, we have our relationship, but this kind of thing also solidifies that relationship that Ogbomosho has with Iseyin. So we are looking forward to December a lot about how this will harness what is already existing between the two towns, and it will further a lot of other things, cultural relationship between our town.
So there's a lot of things that inform this. First of all, we're trying to bring awareness to the inner cities. Second of all, we want to bring awareness to cycling as a sport in Nigeria as a whole. And the best place to do it, where we have the big cities, the sports is already okay in there, but these big cities are good for other things. But I feel like in the inner cities, there are a lot of hidden gems that a lot of people are not aware of. And as you guys have seen on the road, it's a cyclist paradise.
So it drags the government attention. That tells you we are going to have... Cycling Federation is full in support of this event. We are backing this up 100%, no going back. And we are using this to create a platform for others to follow, because this event is one of its kind. This is a first of its kind, and we believe this is meant to set a record.
Organizers of the campaign expressed optimism that the initiative would not only promote cycling as a competitive sport in Nigeria, but also encourage healthy living, strengthen community ties, and draw attention to Oyo State as a hub for sporting and tourism activities.
It's time for more sports update with Adini Achishafe.
The National Youth Games in Asaba Delta State continue to deliver thrilling moments as Delta's Jennifer Ekata Ihezubu clinched gold in karate. Delta State's Jennifer Ihezubu threw the home crowd with a dazzling performance to capture gold medal in the female plus 47 kg category. Ihezubu defeated Chidima Cynthia of Anambra State in the final with a convincing 7-0 scoreline, underscoring her technical brilliance and dominance. And in Scrabble, members of Team Nigeria at the World Youth Scrabble Championship in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, started their quest for honors on an impressive note on day one of the competition. Captain Abdulkudus Aliu is the highest-ranked member of Team Nigeria on day one with 7 wins from 8 games, with cumulative points of plus 784 at number 7 on the table of 218 players. Africa Under-19 champion Prestige Achibong and Joy Nwabuzo are on 6 wins each. Achibong has 808 point and Nwabuzo's cumulative point is 367. Africa Under-17 queen Sophia Ekeruchi had only 2 defeats from 8 games and plus 619 cumulative points. And in basketball, the Tigers forward Emil Okonkwo has made WNBA history, becoming only the 3rd undrafted player in league history to average 11.3 plus points per game across her first 3 appearances. Okonkwo, whose 7-day hardship contract extended with the Dallas Wings, continued her impressive start by scoring 11 points and grabbing a joint game high 6 rebound in the Wings' 100-76 loss to Atlanta Dream. According to league stats, Emil Okonkwo is the 3rd undrafted player in the last 20 seasons to average 11.3 plus points per game over her first 3 games. He's up to 11 points on 4 out of 7 shooting, marking a third consecutive double-digit scoring game. Shooting Stars of Ibadan picked up their first point of the 2025-2026 Nigerian Premier Football League season after a 1-0 draw against Banditry Insurance at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. Both teams desperate to pick their first point of the season in a hard match that had the visitors scoring first through Ismail Ayodele goal to push Shooting Stars ahead in the 5th minute. Insurance responded quickly, leveling the score in the 12th minute through Alex Owelayefa. The game remained fiercely contested with both teams creating chances and defending resolutely to keep their scoreline unchanged until the final whistle. The result marked the first point of the season for both NPFA traditional giants who had suffered defeat in their opening fixtures. The Oliole Warriors will host Ikorodu City while Banditry Insurance travel to Kano to battle Barau FC. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Achisafe.
That wraps up News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs, documentaries, don't follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.